Hi everybody. I'm out in the gazebo. It's messy. I'm not going to show you too much here, but my bark finally arrived. And I am very excited because even though prices have gone up, I think you can see the price right here. $39.99. But this is a big bag of heat-treated Douglas fir bark, Rexius. And the last bark we bought on the internet was this one, 7 liters. I think we paid almost the same amount. I'd have to look it up, and I haven't. But this bag is huge. I'm looking for the size of it. You know, naturally I don't see it. It's big. It's real big. Let me turn it around. I'm going to make a mess here. I don't want to show you our mess here. Okay, let's turn it around. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's see what we got. Of course, I'm not going to say the size. It's cleaner and heat-treated Douglas fir bark processed by high grading and sizing treatment standard for orchid growers. This is big. It's half as big as me. Now, isn't that silly? I do not see the size on it. If anybody saw the size on it, let me know. But this one is 7 liters, and it's certainly bigger than this one. So I'll still save this one for, the color looks the same. I have some here. The color and size look the same. Now this was classified medium, and this was classified chunky. So I would say it's the same. It looks exactly the same. So I'm going to head back to the patio, and I'm going to take the bark. This is where I keep all my chicken food and stuff I need for the chickens. And these garbage cans, this is food, and this is where I put their food at night so that we're not feeding any other little animals. So I take all their food away about 5:30, and then they can go out in the grass and find something to eat. Okay, there we go. So it's a beautiful day today. Since I talked to you last, we only had rain once. And it was in the night, and everything was dry in the morning, but it's a nice day. There's a nice breeze. Great for drying the clothes. Isn't it? And these guys, they're just relaxing here. They're just relaxing. Yes, one of them is molting. That one there is molting. I know. Yeah, I know. You guys are good. You're good girls. Yes, you are. Okay, let's head back here. And I want to show you what I do once I get the bark. So, oh, I could show you over here. We're still picking a few tomatoes. I've got the dirt in this bin, and Jack has organized a roll so that I can cover this at night and therefore grow things in the spring sooner and longer, and in the fall sooner and longer. But we're still getting some tomatoes, and the peppers are turning red, and we've eaten lots, and we're still getting some. So other things are slowly We're still picking tomatoes and squash, and fall is here. Fall is here. Okay, now, why haven't you heard from me? Well, Jack and I pruned the grapes, and there was more grapes than we've ever had, and they were beautiful grapes. And all this is organic grape juice. And I don't know, I haven't counted how many. I think Jack said there's about 50 quarts, and everyone's sealed. So what I do is I have an antique juicer. I steam the juice, and then it comes out a little tube into all these, and then I can it in boiling water bath for 10 minutes to seal the jars. So, and I have been known to reuse the lids. If they're in good shape, believe me, they last and they seal. And if things are hard and things are tough, save your lids, folks. Save your lids. And the other thing, while I was doing all that, I was taking all the orchids in the house. So they're no longer out here on the shelf. They're all inside, and you'll see that on potting day. And because this is my canning area. Right now I'm cooking some liver up for Maggie because I can pay $5 to $6 for liver that will last her a couple weeks. I cook it, and then I cut it into little pieces and put it in the fridge, and she has it with some dry kibbles every night, and it keeps her pretty healthy. So this is where I do all my canning. And now, what I do with my bark is I take a little Cali Magic, which I keep in a dish soap bottle because it pours easier, and seaweed extract. That's what I take. And where's our bark? So then I will just fill my bucket up with water, and I will add a teaspoon of seaweed extract and a teaspoon of Cali Magic, and I will let this soak for 3 days. So that in 3 days I can come back and show you what I'm potting. So we have been busy. You know, life gets busy, and we still have to make time to see Mom quite often. So we are very busy. But I love coming on, showing you what I'm doing, and you're going to be surprised when you see the orchids. And so right now I will shut down till we're back with the orchids, and the bark have soaked 3 days with seaweed extract and magnesium and Cali Magic. So, and these jars are so much easier. This is a Palmolive bottle, but with the tops, I think I took a top off of a different one and put it on that one because these E-cover dish things, I like the ones with the nice little thing, and they don't spill, they're easy to pour. And so that's it, everybody. We'll see you soon. Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Maggie heard me say that. She's out in the grass there. It's sunny outside. We've had no rain to speak of since the last video. That's a long time. One night we had something that came down the night, but it was dry by morning, so it wasn't enough but our nights are cooler. In fact, so cool. The orchids are all in the house now. And I have 2 orchids. If I have time, I want to repot. And do you know what Jack says? I said, gee, my views of my orchids are slowing down, probably because I haven't been doing them as often. And he says, hey, there was some show the other day on TV. It said you put a bikini on and then you get lots of views. Right. I didn't have a bikini, but one hot day I went to put my bathing suit on it, and it was so long since I used it, all the elastic just dried all up, and it was all no good. Oh, it was a joke, believe me. So we're going to take this orchid out of here. Now, this is the orchid I first put in glass in November 2022. Because like you should date all the time, this I did date, so I'd know when it happened. But it was an orchid that I had for a while, and it wasn't doing good, and I thought, well, we'll see how it does. And it has done extremely good. And what happened over the summer, it lost 2 leaves. And all the others are doing so well. So I thought, well, I know why it did. Because here's the last spike it had. But last winter, this flowered all winter because I had left the old spike on. And it had flowered a full bloom. And then that one had no sooner died, and this came up new, and it flowered, and I think it just took too much energy from the plant. And what's happening now is it's hanging over the pot, and because it's an older orchid, I'm going to show you a little closer. The monopodial stem is getting longer and longer, and it's hanging over, and the roots are just packed in here. In fact, that one's trying to come out, and so I thought, you know, it needs a bigger pot. And we were at the thrift store, and I seen this pot, and I thought that would be perfect. I can give it more room, and it may not bloom this coming year. Now that'll be interesting, but I am no longer leaving spikes on. Now, if I am growing in house conditions and whatever our weather is. Now, if you have a grow room growing in optimal humidity, and ours was seldom over 30 or 40% all summer, even with the big humidity thing in that corner, because that does the whole room, and my screens are open, it goes outside, but it does help in that area. And the air is cooler coming from it on a hot day. So, you know, you have to think how you are growing in your area when you're doing something. So, for this area, I'm not growing under perfect conditions, but they are doing really well. And I do want to thank a couple people said they're using my water schedule that anybody can get just by asking me. And their orchids, one lady said her orchid hadn't bloomed in 3 years, and they're doing so good. So that made me feel good. So that's what we want. That's really all we want. So I don't take money for this video. I get nothing. So, and I don't mind because I do it when I want, not because I have to. I do it because I want to visit with you and share and talk about orchids. So, let's just take this one out of the pot. And one thing about glass, it should come out easy. I've been watering on Tuesdays because I've had lots of appointments lately. Okay, let's just take that. Now, I've been soaking my bark for 3 days. I have it here. Maybe I'll just put this down here. There. Now, this bark is pretty good, but I have done bark, And I'll tell you, this is still humid. I did it Tuesday, so it's Friday now. There's still a lot of humidity. You know, I don't see anything rotten, and it's so happy in there. Let me see what I can get here. We'll just take a little out where we can put it in. Now this one did not have any cork because it was, actually I guess it was the size of, it's a medium bark, maybe a few bigger pieces in it. So I just want to show you because I'm not going to go and unpack this and make it any more chalk. Let's see how it sits in this. Oh, let's see. Put that over there because we're going to use that. And put this here. I do want, maybe we will, so I can move it around a little bit without hurting it too much. I see one soft root here. Oh, it's been like that a while. Probably when I first put it in. Let's show you. This has been like this a while. So this is the root system. Now this one must have been one when I first put it in. I'm just gonna, are you sure? There. See if there's anything else in there. That seems good. Where was that? That was coming off of this very old root right here. Now you can see, I'm in the sun so it's hard to see. It is very packed. It definitely needs a little more room. And I'd like to straighten it up. Whether I can get that cone-shaped part to bend. Whoop. Careful, careful. Okay, I think I can. So what I'm going to do is put a little of the old bark on the bottom. I'm going to mix old bark in. And I'm just going to get it how I want it. Without really hurting it too much. Try and straighten it up a bit. There is a lot more space for the roots to spread out in here. That is helping. I sure would like to get it a little more. As I knock some out, it gets a little more flexible. Now, I don't want to take the roots that are stuck on the bark that's stuck on the roots because it's used to that. I don't want to crack these, and they could split, so okay, let's just do this as best we can. Put those in. Now, you usually don't bury aerial roots, but my top of my plants is always dry and I'm not putting them anywhere really soft. So, I'm going to move this down here. I'm going to put some of the old bark in. That's a fooling it. And then I'm going to put it over here. It's going to be kind of like planting an Cymbidium when you want it to grow more one way, because it was getting quite a tilt. It was getting quite a tilt. This is my bark. I was soaking for more than 3 days, as it turned out. I had a bone scan done. Oh boy, I had to go to Vernon and get this bone scan. And then I had an appointment to see the doctor for the results, and I went a day early. Oh boy. So here I am a day early, and she says, you know, we're not real busy, the secretary says. I'll see if she'll sneak you in. The answer was no. Well, better a day early than a day late. Oh dear. And so I went the next day, and I had a bone growing between my tailbone and my hip bone. My hip bone was how they first noticed it, because I have arthritis in it. So anyway, they did a whole bone scan because they were worried to check all my bones. But in the end, it's just a growth from all the arthritis in my hip. And I'm lucky. I prayed and prayed the whole time I was in that room getting that done. It was a long day, so that day we didn't do orchids. Oh boy. We thought we'd go and come home, but you had to go in for half an hour, and then you had to leave, get a shot. You had to go away for 2 hours. Then you had to go back and get more done. It was a long day. But anyway, it was good news. So I celebrated with a big ice cream cone when we went back for our appointment yesterday. I said, that's it, I'm celebrating. But you know, when you haven't had any amount of sugar for a long time and you have a big ice cream cone, it's not the same. It tasted really sweet, and of course there was a bunch of junk in it. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. I like the way it's sitting. I'm going to put more bark in, and it looks, as it gets watered and used, it probably will settle a little more, but it looks pretty good. This way, I haven't bothered it too much because, you know, I didn't want to. They're loving these glass pots. Much better since I put the holes in the bottom and around the outside. But some of my little ones still don't have holes in the bottom, but I have to dump them pretty well right upside down to get the water out. But the little ones, it's not so bad to do that. So anybody that lives in my area that wants some of the older porcelain orchid pots, you can have them. Email me and let me know. Our post office is on strike again. Oh boy, Canada's falling apart. Oh boy. Anyway, I was going to buy a half a sockeye frozen in the grocery store. And they, at the top of the hill here, asked you, they wanted $40 for a half of a sockeye frozen. Crumb. My brother's down on the coast. He says, well, we just bought a whole fish for $16. So who's making the profit on this? I don't know. Yeah. And our prices are terrible. And we could just hope for the best. So, you know, we're growing things as long as we can. And I think I'm going to stock up on some canned foods and things like that next grocery shopping day. Things that keep in the cupboard. Well, I think that's pretty good. These were out. I can probably cut that off. This is the first bite that came, and then the second one. So it may drip for a while. I'm just going to leave it here on our table. And then my plan was, I have a double plan. I should put a little something under that. I've got something that'll fit. Just to catch the drips. There we go. Excuse me. You mean to bend over. There. Let's put that there. Okay. Now, this has just got some older stuff. Let me just run to the sink for a few minutes over here. I thought I'd do this outside because there's so much more sun to see what you're doing. You can see better. And we'll be in the house all winter. there. You don't want any of the old stuff sticking around. One thing about the glass, the roots don't stick to it, as you've seen. The roots do not stick to it, so it's so much easier on them. I never had any stuck roots. It's so much easier, and even in our hot, dry summer, they got the reflected light, but there's a shade cloth on the roof, and I keep the blinds on that side closed, but we're putting a bigger blind there because I did burn a couple orchids. You'll see when we do a tour in a few days, and because they were getting some morning sun. So, but it's been a beautiful, we went for a walk this morning. We try to go every morning, and it was just beautiful. The sky is blue and it's cool. So cool, the furnace actually came on. Okay, now, none of this older compost is, I can notice a smell in it, but it's not soft or rotten, but it'll be good to put in the compost. Now, this orchid is the one I put in this crystal vase, and it had a hole in the bottom already because it was like a light or a lantern or something, and Jack had put holes in it, and then it's heavy because it is like crystal, and it had an accident. Way back I showed a video. It had crashed to the floor. It had got hurt here. It had got hurt here. And the leaves on this orchid, even when I got it, this is one good thing about being in, every one of them was split. These were when I got it, even down here on the bottom. Every orchid, every leaf was split. So, but these are two new leaves. They are not split. So, I'm hopeful about it after having a terrible accident. And sometimes these things happen. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch from this to this one because I like this one. And it is a little bit bigger, not much, but it is definitely easier to handle. So, I'm just going to put that there. Should have a glass of water. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, this one, as you can see, it had a hole in the bottom. So it was for a candle. And I had it on this little stand, which the little one is on now. And I still may use it, but I'll put a smaller orchid in it at some time. So I'll just put the cork aside there. These can probably, pardon me. Some of these roots are dry. Nothing's rotten, but some of them are dry, but that's okay too. Oh, here's an old one, just like the other one. Probably just the change in potting. So there's one right in here. Yep. Get it out of there. I often just leave the inside. So you can see they like the cork. The cork added extra airspace, which it needed. It wasn't doing well when it got put in this pot. It was one that I'd got, like I said, in sad shape. The flowers were pretty, but these are old from the potting and from before. But you can see it has nice roots coming. They're loving the fact that they're getting light. Not direct light, But even in the hot summer when it was over 100, many, many days in here, they don't get burnt in the glass because they don't have the sun shining right on them. So we'll get this and we'll see. Let's see. Oh, that'll be perfect. And just in the bottom to help it drain, I'm going to put a few of the corks. It'll just, I got some over here, to stop so it's not plugging up a bottom hole. There, let's do that. What's in that one? I don't know what that was. There. I think I'll do that. They like the cork, so. Okay, and I did lots of bark because I have lots now. And the price is right. There. Put that in like that. And we'll just put it. This one goes in the stand after. I think if I kind of twist it. I'm going to try and get it a little lower. Yeah. We get all the glass stuff at the thrift store, which is so cheap. People line up there now because of the cost of living. Everything is like, it's very, very hard on young people with families. Very hard. I'm not going to talk politics, so. Okay. Yes. Now I'm just going to take some sauce and distribute that down there and there. And I'm going to come and try and stand that up now and go down this way. Yes, I'm getting rid of all my porcelain ones. I have enough pots downstairs waiting to be drilled and some small ones and for some small, and they're all going in it because Oncidiums are even doing so, except the big Cymbidium. It's still outside. So, and I have found putting the Kelly Magic and the seaweed extract in this, it soaks. It really solves that problem. I used to have problem with transplanting from moss to bark. When I started doing this, that problem never arose. So it's really very good. I recommend anybody that has trouble with bark being, because bark doesn't wick from one piece to another. But seaweed extract will turn your fingers brown when you're dipping with your hands, which I like to do. I'm going to put some of the old bark right here back in. I'm not sure, just a bit. There. How are you guys making out with getting older? Oh my goodness. Anyway, for my hip, I'm doing all these exercises and I'm trying to do them every other day at least. Sometimes I might do the next day, but yeah, step-ups. I do step-ups. You go up on a little stool and then you go down, and then I do the other leg so it doesn't get weak, because he said if you keep the muscles strong around the arthritis, it helps everything. So that's what I'm doing. And I just seen another one on the internet where you have to step over an electric fence, pretend. You lift one leg up real high over the electric fence, then the other one, and then you go back, left, right, right to left. It's supposed to be really good too. And you step sideways. Well, we have to do our best to help the aging process, I guess. Mom's got bad hips, so we had to take her more wool the other day. She's so funny. Oh, it's nice to give her, it's nice to have a hug every time I go. I make sure I get that hug. And make sure she gets a hug too, because her memory isn't good at all anymore. And she still remembers us, but some people she's not remembering. A lot of things she's not remembering, but she's happy. She's happy. She loves the food there, the food where she is. They line up an hour early, all the ladies there, and they're nice ladies. So, and the people are so nice. It's called Hillside Village. It's a Good Samaritan, put on by the, it's put on by a church, Lutheran church, yeah. And it's very reasonable. And for how nice it is, and it's just like a home, because they're all little houses with only 12 people in each house. 6 on one side of the house, 6 on the other. So there, now, I know I talk a lot. That's because I don't get out to talk a lot, so when I get with you guys, I talk a lot. I'm really quite an introvert. I'm not as bad as I used to be, but I used to be quite an introverted person. My brother, he's the extrovert of the family. And my dad was pretty introverted, but he was deaf. So that made it difficult. He was deaf from the war. There, you see now, this is going to be happier. Got 2 beautiful new leaves, even though these were all, this was probably when they got these splits. I read that it's quite often from uneven humidity or watering or something. So this one maybe was more, but they got new ones here, and boy, oh boy, we got uneven humidity. And for the first time, I've used all my bark just right. Okay, so there we are. I'll take you around and show the Cymbidium, because we should talk about the Cymbidium. My Cymbidium was put on the east side over here, and we're going to go over there. And it was put out there early in the spring, because they can take colder weather better than the phals. And also, they don't want direct sun. So it has not had direct sun on it, because it's between bushes in the house, and what it gets is light, because light still gets through, but not direct sun. And every time I water, which was almost every day up the garden path, whenever I was there, I gave it water, run right through. Plus, on watering days, it got whatever was on my watering schedule. So, now, when do you bring your Cymbidiums in? I always let mine get down. It's been down to like 50, 48. It's been low. And they can take a smidgen of a frost. I'm not saying leave them out in the frost, but just to that closeness. Then I'll probably bring them in here, because the solarium's usually about 10 degrees warmer than outside. So far, even though it was cold enough to bring the phals in, the Cymbidium is still outside. So let's go have a look at it. Okay. There. Hope I didn't hit anything I shouldn't. Nope, there. Okay. even lock the door yet. Well, I was out, but I shut it when we went for a while. There's our blue sky. Yes. Okay, let's go over here. There's where we had to prune all our grapes, and we made the grape juice. So now we have dirt in here, and I put a couple plants in here. I've got radishes coming up, and I've got some other, what did I plant? I can't forget what I plant. I got all things that can grow even cooler, and we haven't got our cover for frost up, but it'll go on there. It's something we picked up, and so that's going to happen. I thought, well, I'll try these things here, because this will be the first garden I start and the last one I use. And we're still getting tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. They're good. Okay. Over here, it's dark here right now because these hedges are getting taller. So not that much sun, but this is where it sat all year. And you can tell by the color of the leaves. They're nice and yellowy green, and so I'm hoping this year we'll get flowers. So I'll be keeping my eye on the temperature. And it's 40, probably 8 or something right now. So it was colder because I know our furnace and the little heater in the basement came on. So we're pretty well slowly getting cleaned up for fall. Got bags of stuff. Now I'm hoping, I'm still leaving tomatoes because I got some that can ripen. And I could put them in the greenhouse, but there's some nice ones here still. And I can still hang my laundry out on the line, but they're finishing. So when I think it's going to frost, into the greenhouse they go. Now I'm eating beans. When I pulled the garlic, I planted beans, and so they're just fresh. And I've been eating yellow beans and green beans every night, which is nice. So a few cucumbers still. And then in the greenhouse, there's some tomatoes over here. Now there's one ripening down there. There's quite a few. So those ones will come in here and at least hang till they ripen. Because little more, we don't heat here anymore. It got too expensive. So there we go. There's the girls. They're out pecking on grass, and we just move that around. It's easy to do, back and forth, and they're happy. I already picked up some eggs, but we could go see if there's any more. Yeah, that's getting, we better not, because I think it's a long video already. So thank you. Give me a thumbs up, okay? Maybe they'll put me out there a little more. I don't know. Bye for now.